I've always wanted to learn a language. I just never have applied myself to it. But I can see how that helps me more than just saying like, "Donde está el baño?" You know?
Right. You are now listening to the PushPress podcast, helping gym owners succeed one episode at a time.
The other day I was listening to a podcast and I heard this concept I thought was dope that I want to talk to you about. It's about meta skills. You heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the concept of meta skills is basically like there are certain skills in life that are so important and just like, I guess, at the intersection of humanity, that these skills like when you take the time to learn or develop the skill set, it actually transcends into everything in life. And I just thought that was such an interesting topic to dive into that I wanted to bring that up with you.
You don't hear much thrown around meta skills at all, and until you share the some of the overarching themes of this with me, and I hadn't really given it much thought. I think it's a good thing for any business owner to noodle on, especially. So excited to jump in and to maybe here in a few minutes dive into what are the top 5, 6, 7 meta skills that every business owner should jump into. But I guess maybe generally, how would we frame them, or how would we explain to the audience what a meta skill is? Maybe without giving away too many of them, because I know we want to save that for later.
I won't give any of them away, but I'll tell you what, I just asked ChatGPT what a meta skill is.
Of course.
And since ChatGPT knows more than all of us at this point, let's just read that. So a meta skill is a high-level ability that, when developed, has a positive impact across many areas of life, beyond its specific application. Unlike regular skills, these are often confined to particular tasks or domains. Meta skills are foundational and transferable. So I think that's the key to it.
Okay.
Is when you start to develop these things, it actually transcends across your entire life.
ChatGPT to the freaking rescue.
Yeah. We should just do a segment on what shit ChatGPT says, because that
would be hilarious.
That was pretty on point.
Yeah, it was.
So what are some, are there any examples that are not in our short list that you're thinking of?
Oh, ones that are not immediately listed here would be storytelling. Would be one, right? So
huge one.
Because humans have told stories since they could scribble on cave walls, and it's like your grandfather tells you stories, right? Like, we read bedtime stories. Like, dude, storytelling is such a critical part to everything that we do as humans. It's how we convey messages.
Yeah, it's just because as human beings we're wired to that. So when you develop the skill to story and you understand the framework of storytelling, you can actually get your point across to a wider range of people, which ultimately serves yourself. If you're trying to, if you have something that you want to get across, you can wrap that in story. One that I think of a lot, because I am unilingual. Is there such a word as unilingual?
What does that mean?
It's the opposite of duolingual. Like, I only know how to speak English, barely. I can only barely speak English, apparently. Anyway, since I can only speak one language, one thing I think about a lot is another language. Like, learning another language it kind of lets you communicate with other people, but it opens up travel, right? It opens up new restaurants, or like the cultural boundaries start to blend when you learn a new language. So to me, like, I've always wanted to learn a language. I just never have applied myself to it, but I can see how that helps me more than just saying like "Donde está el baño?"
Right.
Like,
so is this,
that's the hook right there.
So is the skill the ability to learn a new language itself? That's the unlock, right?
The skill is learning a new language. Like,
yes.
Oh, I can speak Spanish today, but what is that in a meta way? I can now go to like 28 countries and be able to get around comfortably and not fear, not have anxiety about it. And I can also connect with my wife's family better, right? So it's like it unlocks this much more than just learning the skill itself.
Got it. All right. Do we want to dive into some?
Absolutely. Let's pull up the list here. We've got a list of some meta skills that we think actually specifically apply to gym owners.
Yep.
It's our audience, but will unlock a lot more in everyone's life for anyone who does it. I'll start it off with one that actually is in your realm, so I'm gonna steal from you, because I think it is the number one unlock that I had in my life is when I actually learned the skills of selling, right? And I will speak to this from the other side of the coin, because you're a professional. You've grown up as a salesperson in your career. I grew up hating salespeople, and so selling to me was something I was petrified of doing, but something I realized as a gym owner I had to do. And so I went to this sales course and I learned that, hey, it's actually possible to sell in an ethical way that treats your customers with respect and dignity and does not make you the salesperson you see on TV. And what he actually straight up explained to us in the sales course is like, hey, if you learn to sell, your marriage is going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn to sell, your friendships are going to get better. Why? Because part of selling is just being able to like understand what other people need, listen to that, and respond to that in a certain way. So that to me, that's like one of the bigger meta skills that I uncovered early in my career.
100%. I think not only does every gym owner need to do it, of course, but it is one of those things that once you learn to listen, regurgitate it in your brain what you heard, and then speak to that thing in a way that gives value to the person on the other side of the table, it helps you with job interviews. It helps you with, like you said, with your marriage. Of course, sometimes my wife is like, quit trying to sell me something.
I see what you're doing here, Nicholas.
All right, fine, babe. We'll just do it your way, right? But it does help in all those different areas, right? Job interviews. I mean, you name it. It makes it to where you never feel as if you are behind the curve on any negotiation or anything else.
There's an interesting thing as I look through this list here of things that we have, I realize a lot of them are underpinned by this, what I consider a concept of empathy, right? Mm-hmm. So the next one that I have is marketing, right? And the reason marketing to me is a meta skill is because it actually makes me understand, if you can reflect back on the cat shit episode, but it makes me takes myself out of my own shoes and realize, like, what do my customers want? What do they see? What are the pains that they're feeling? And really, those are all empathetic things. But in order to take myself out of my own shoes of what I want and put myself in the shoes of what my customers want, that's really the marketing hat of like, how do you speak to customers and meet them where they are and talk to them in language that they need to hear and feel safe with?
I think there's something else too there around respecting attention. Understanding how to capture attention, but then also respecting that you have someone's attention and not taking it for granted and not wasting their time. It's the reason why these podcast episodes are like 15 minutes, right? Instead of like an hour drawn out of some bullshit.
Yep.
So
let's get to the point.
This next one is the one that I think I've seen you just grow so significantly on in the last couple of years, and that's public speaking. This one, actually, I would love to hear your thoughts because you did go. I remember you and I had a conversation. You were like, I'm going to get really fucking good at public speaking. And it's like, I'm just going to get on stages. I'm just going to start talking. And probably since then, you've probably been on 30 stages, it seems like. And now all of a sudden,
I'm not much better, but I'm more confident.
The compliments, though, you can say that, but the compliments that people give you that I hear are phenomenal. So has it helped in when we sit in a board meeting?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So that's why, to me, this is absolutely a meta skill because I've personally experienced this. But yeah, like just having the confidence to be able to walk into a room and say, like, if I had to talk to everyone here, I'm not completely out of my element, is very empowering. Yeah. And that could be a board meeting. It could be your class in the gym. And it could be, your leadership group or pile of coaches. The bottom line is, like, to be a leader, you have to be able to you have to be able to form a thought and convey a thought and then get people bought in on a thought. And if you can't do those things, you're not a leader.
100%.
Which takes us right to the next one.
Right to the next one, which is leadership.
Leadership.
Man, that is one beyond thankful for my time in the Marine Corps because it started you as they thrive on small unit leadership. So you start on a fire team and it's just three other Marines, and it's like you're really only making sure they get to eat, they don't go to jail, that their uniform is squared away. It's nothing overly complex, and then it grows over time, right? But once you can learn to command a room, lead with empathy. So you're right. You said earlier, tying it back to empathy, right? All of a sudden, a lot of other doors unlock. And to me, it's just similar to public speaking, where now all of a sudden you're not afraid of, like, hey, make sure that all these people, make sure the family gets to the zoo and home safely. It's like, it's my responsibility as a leader.
There's something about leadership too, where like you can walk into a room, survey the situation, and realize like a true leader will actually know, like, oh, we've got 3 chefs in this kitchen. I don't need to be the leader here. Or they'll be able to survey the situation and be like, oh my gosh, this is chaos. Someone needs to take charge. And because you have that experience as a leader, you can actually make that happen. And in both those situations, like, the group needs exactly that. But as a leader, you can tell. The rookie leaders will be, they're going to force, or someone who has less experience is going to do whatever they're going to do no matter what the rest of the people need.
Like they're going to step in and try to lead, even if a room clearly already has someone that's driving. I mean, towards.
It could be like there's 2 chefs in the room, and if you're like a younger leader, you're going to be like, well, let me be the 3rd chef. But also, it could be like it's just chaos and there's nobody taking charge. And if you're not comfortable being a leader, you'll be like, well, that's not me. This feels way too chaotic for me to handle.
100%. Yeah. Next one. Negotiation. Negotiation to me is such a powerful one because you use it every single day.
Just don't realize it. It's like sales. You don't realize it.
Yep. Yeah. And so, and I think it's important that there's a difference between a negotiation and sales. Sales, yes, you are looking to close it. Their similarities are you're both looking to close a transaction. One is the dialogue of the back and forth and aligning on a specific outcome, where the other one
sales is like the committal part. Like correct. I'm buying into what's happening here.
Exactly. Yep.
Negotiations are then fine print.
100%.
Yeah. And from my experience, the fine print is where like things can go really wrong really fast.
Yep. It's the last part of the, what do they say? It's the last yard getting over the goal line, right? So, and that's where every deal can go south at. So if you're comfortable in that environment, especially face to face or in person, man, it's like the world's your oyster all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yep. And so the 6th one for the list, I put disarming. What I really mean by that is basically the meta skill of, for lack of a better term, fighting. And I use the word disarming very tactically because a good fighter knows that the best fight is one that you don't take.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I read this. I was thinking, did he mean physically?
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, it really is in disarming situations, but here's like my observation are the people who have trained their whole lives to fight know how not to fight. Because they have the confidence in knowing that if it gets to that point, I will finish the job more than likely, or I'm trained to finish the job, but I don't need it to get to that point. It's always the people who don't know how to fight who want to fight. You know what I'm saying? So I think like one of the biggest meta skills is like if you actually have taken the time to learn jujitsu or do some type of fighting skill, or even like take it could be like emotional disarming, right? So it's like I've taken a class to do like hostage situation negotiation or stuff like that. It's like you actually have the ability to disarm a situation so that you're not getting into the stuff no one wants to get into.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There was a viral video, I think just last week or 2 weeks ago, at a football game. And these are 2 football fans of opposing teams yelling at each other. And there was a Green Beret who's got the low ground. He later surfaced that he was a freaking Green Beret, right? And he's staring up at this dude that's bigger than him, but they're jawing back and forth, but he's got a smile on his face and he is as calm as can be. And all the comments around like, I wouldn't piss that guy off. Yeah, like he was the calm one in the room trying to disarm it. Because to your point, he knew he was going to finish the job if it escalated, right?
Yeah. So let's go to to me, the biggest meta skill one can get, fitness, right? And that's why we're all in this room. Why don't you give us your thoughts on that?
So to me, fitness is probably the most they're all amazing, right? But like it's so empowering. And I remember there was a member at Kansas Athletic Club. He actually lives out here in California now. His name is Sean Herwald. And we did an exit interview after he had been with the gym for a couple of years. And I asked him, what was the most impactful thing of your time here? And he said, it's the confidence that I gained from coming here that made me good in my career. It's what got me the job to move out to California, my dream job. And I wouldn't have had it if I wasn't training here every day. And that was a light bulb moment for me of, it's not just the body, it's not just the physical, it's you are suddenly empowered to go and conquer the world.
Empowerment's a big one. Let me turn to ChatGPT. So earlier when I asked ChatGPT what meta skills was, the number one example was fitness. So I just asked ChatGPT right now to dive into that and tell me more. Here's some reasons, right? Like improved mental health and stress management. This is from ChatGPT, so this is true. Boosted self-discipline, like you were saying, and habit building, right? So when you show up and do hard things that you might not want to do, I've gone to the gym so many days where it's like, it would be easier not to, and I decided to, and all it does is just build that skill within yourself to show up when you don't want to. What's the guy? Increased energy and productivity. We've all felt that.
100%.
Right? You feel better. Improved sleep quality. I don't get that one personally, but I've got other things
You
going on.
absolutely don't.
Confidence and self-efficacy. That's also what you're talking about. Positive impact on social connection. So again, when you have the confidence, it's almost like the fight skill stuff. When you have the confidence in knowing, like, I show up for myself and do things for myself that I know I need to do, it resounds into so many other aspects of your life that I think fitness has got to be one of the biggest meta skills in the world.
Has to be. And you mentioned earlier that when, you sit down to a table and you're fit, you have a leg up in, negotiation. And so I think this is kind of where you can start to cross some of these skills, right? So you show up to speak. I mean, you got broad shoulders, you're a big guy. So like, there's some of this, I'm going to listen to what he's saying. So then it's like fitness, public speaking, you start to stack some of these and you get some really powerful results. But fitness is the one that you can just visibly see as someone walks down the street.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about fitness, honestly, and share this with your community, gym owners, like, if you just show up every day for yourself for an hour to an hour and a half for a year, you will have changed your life. Like, it's almost a guarantee. There's no question marks about this. It's just, are you willing to just show up and put in work over a prolonged period of time to get a guaranteed result? How many things in life are guaranteed that people it is one of the few things.
It absolutely
is. It absolutely blows my mind that people, if you ask everyone on the street, would you like to be fitter? Either they're lying to you if they say no, or they're lying to themselves and they say no, or the answer is yes. Like, these are just inevitabilities.
Yep. 100%. And you know what? On that note, I think you could probably say the same thing about most of these meta skills. I think that just goes maybe to show you exactly how innate they are to being a human being.
So I would argue that and saying, like, most people would say, I don't want to be a better salesperson because they you know what I mean? They don't understand marketing. Public speaking, it's like, but everyone wakes up and feels like that crick in my neck, the ache in my back. I can't squat. I'm not, I can't go up the stairs. Like, everyone feels that internally every day. And especially the more unfit, like the worse of a public speaker you are, you're not going to know it.
True.
The more unfit you are, that it shows up in your every moment of your own consciousness.
Yeah.
So
maybe there's a negative connotation. Like, I don't necessarily want to be a good public speaker, but I also don't want to be scared of getting on stage. That's probably more of the thought that someone would have.
Yeah.
Someone wants to be fit, but someone doesn't want to be bad at public speaking.
Yeah, everything goes back to the negative, right? And it's like, do I not want to be embarrassed in front of a stage of people? Of course I don't, but it's not in my life.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because I will never put myself in that situation.
But you have to deal with your body.
You have to deal with, oh my God, the elevator's broken, escalator's broken. I've got to walk up these flight of stairs or I'm about to miss a flight and I've got to run to the next terminal. Like, everyone deals with that.
Yep.
And you can't escape your own brain on that one.
100%.
Yeah. So let's recap on that, right? So meta skills, super important. Why? Because these are the things that let you develop 1 + 1 = 3 superpowers. And if you've spent any time with me, that's what I'm looking for, right? Like, if I'm going to invest my time in something, I want to get returns like exponential scale of return of what I'm doing, because time is so finite. And we're living in this world where you wake up in the morning and everyone has the same 24 hours. So it's like, why does an Elon Musk or a Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, Jeff Bezos or whoever it is, how do they get so far at such a young age? It's because they're figuring out how to stack their time and do these 1 + 1 = 3 things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So if we have limited time and you can only put it into, everyone has the same 24 hours, right? So what are you going to focus on? What are you going to learn? What are you going to challenge yourself with that's going to give you those exponential results? And these are the underlying skills.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna spend time on things, spend the time on things that are going to spill over into your personal life, into your professional life, into your business, with your children, right? We didn't even mention this, but like, fitness makes your life with your children better.
Absolutely.
That's probably one of the most important things, and that wasn't even talked about here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I guess for you guys, like, reflect on yourselves. Like, what is the meta skill? If you had to look within yourself, what is the one meta skill that you think you should be working on right now to make yourself a better person? And what is the meta skill that your community can be working on too? It's fitness.
Email us, podcast@pushpress.com. We want to hear from you guys.
All right, let us know. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the PushPress podcast, where we help gym owners, entrepreneurs, and fitness enthusiasts thrive with actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategies for growth. Don't forget to follow the show to stay updated on new episodes. And if you're ready for more, join our free Facebook community for gym owners. Check the show notes for the link, and we'll see you next time. Keep raising the bar for your business and community.